G'day there, Ray Corcoran here. In this week's video, I'm going to be going over my first side hustle that I ever had, and it was building basic WordPress websites for business owners. It was a really important step, and even though it didn't make millions, it did make me a few grand a month on the side. And when I was in a 9-to-5 job working in corporate, it was very exciting money to make because it was totally independent of my 9-to-5 income. And there was no limit on how much I could make. Compared to my 9-to-5, I would have to be there all day and do, 40, 50 hours a week, and I would get paid the same amount. And promotions were always, kicked down the road, and it was always a very frustrating thing. And I was looking at ways to make money outside of my day job. Basically, in this video, I'm going to talk about how I did it, how much money I made, and how it all worked. And whether you do this or do something else, it should give you a bit of an idea about how to make that stepping stone if you're maybe in a 9-to-5 that you want to get out of, or you want to make income that is independent of your main job. This video will kind of explain how I did it, and maybe that'll help you. And as always, if you like the video, please give it a like. It does help it reach more people. And if you want to subscribe, we do weekly videos on personal finance, making money, investing money, and all that good stuff. So in terms of how this all started, I was at a friend's place many years ago, and we're just having a chat, kicking back, and he was saying that he was making a few grand a month building websites for people, and specifically WordPress websites. Now, I hadn't heard of WordPress before. I didn't realize that it was, pretty much the most popular website platform in the world. And I think like something crazy like 25 or 30% of all websites on the internet are built on WordPress. And basically my friend was saying that, yeah, it's not too hard actually. It's a pretty good system. And you can basically build a website for someone for relatively low cost and to you, and it just takes a few hours of your time. And it's not necessarily easy to start off with, but you do get the hang of it. And I was very interested in this, and I asked him if he could show me how to do it. And even if you don't have a friend to show you, all the tutorials are online in terms of the basics of web design and all that sort of stuff. And the reason that this particular side hustle works so well is that, even in 2022, there are so many businesses that don't have a website, and there's also many new businesses that are launched every single day that need a website. And what we were doing was we were just building very basic sites. These are not fancy high-end sites, but they were good enough to get someone started, and they were always priced at a level that was affordable. So it was a win for them and it was a win for us. A big part of it was having overseas contractors to help us build the site. So I know a little bit of tech stuff, but nothing serious. And he just said that you can, I used a site called Odesk back in the day. It's called Upwork now. And basically you can find contractors that can build a WordPress website. And, if you're organized and you know what you're doing, you can probably get them to build that for 150 to 200 to 250 Australian, and you're off and away. Now, you might ask, well, can't the person that wants to build the website do that? And the answer is technically yes, but it is a bit of a minefield finding a good contractor. And there's always language barriers, and projects go, contractors go MIA, and projects go pear-shaped, and sometimes it can be very frustrating and time-consuming dealing with a contractor from overseas if you've never done it before. So it's not as easy as you may think to just go online and get someone to do it. So that's where the value that you add would come in, is that you know how to deal with contractors. You've probably got a couple of good contractors that you'll end up meeting online, and you'll use them on a regular basis, and you start to get into a bit of a rhythm. So you start to get quite a lot of efficiency that a business owner would not be able to do. Like, for them, they just want to build one website. They're probably not going to build another site for another few years. They're not really interested in learning all about the process and how to make it all efficient and all that sort of stuff. So the first part is obviously getting the customers. So the way that I did it was I just started building websites for free for family and friends, and I would just do it to get experience. And it did actually cost me money before it made me money. And I didn't mind because it was only 150, 200 bucks to pay someone to help me build the site. But I was learning a lot about how to build the site, how to do it efficiently, how to brief my contractor very clearly so they can do a good job, and I set them up for success. Also helping me find the right contractors. So you go through a bunch of frogs before you get to the prince, or whatever, as they say. And it was good to really go through a few different contractors before I found a couple of really reliable professional ones that I, used on an ongoing basis after that. And I would kind of try everything in terms of getting customers. So, I would post on my personal Facebook about it. I would tell all my friends about it, tell a lot of, family, anybody, basically to say, if you know someone that's starting a business or wants to get their website redone, let me know, I'll do it for free. So obviously that word gets around pretty quickly from there. You could also post on websites like Gumtree or those sorts of, job listing websites, and you'll get heaps of people that will want help for free quite easily. But the point of that is that you get some people that you do jobs for, hopefully you do a great job, and then once you get your confidence up and your skills up, you can start charging them a small amount and then a medium amount and then eventually a larger amount. But you're only ever charging them relative to how good your product is. So it's always a good, it's always a good exchange of value for both parties. We don't want to just charge $1 million and deliver something rubbish for someone. And after a while of doing this, you start to develop your own little internal processes in terms of like, say when you speak to the customer for the first time, you'll have like a little checklist of questions that you'll go through with them about, tell us about your company, what services you offer, what's your kind of company style or vibe? Are you very, very professional and serious? Or are you more like, a younger, upbeat company, a bit more fun and playful? And you'll get a bit of an idea of what these people want to do with their website and how they want to kind of present themselves and all the basics like their company colors and any photos and assets that you'll need to put on the site. And once you do that sort of initial discovery phase, you'll kind of go to your contractor and you'll go on one of these sites and post a job saying, I need a WordPress developer to build me a site, and you've already got some of the raw materials, and you'll take it to them. They'll start to put it together. You'll let them know. You'll kind of create like a really basic site map in Excel where you kind of list all the pages that you want to create. And most websites, basic cheap websites are like, 5 to 7 pages. About us, contact us, our services, homepage, that sort of stuff. It's very, very stock standard. It's not like an e-commerce website where there's hundreds of products and a lot of complexity. Then from there, you would kind of get the developer. And the thing is, you don't need to be super, super techy. Obviously, the more that you learn, the easier this is going to be. But I did not know how to build WordPress websites, yet I could deliver them because I was paying someone that could help me with that. And basically what would happen from there is we would build the first version of the website, show it to the client, and we would have one round of feedback. They would give us any changes. I would take that to the developer. They would make those changes. Then we would show it back to the client for the second and final round of changes. It's important, don't do 50,000 rounds of changes because otherwise you'll never end the project and you'll destroy your margins. But you give them 2 main rounds of feedback, and for most businesses that is more than enough to sort of get the site to where they want it to be. And eventually you get to a point where you have quite a streamlined operation. You're starting to probably get word of mouth referrals. You're posting about your client websites. You're starting to get a bit of a portfolio together. You don't even need your own website, to be honest, to start with. I didn't, and it didn't matter. As long as I could sort of show that I had a good idea of what I needed to build for them and that it was a good price or it was free to start with. Most people are willing to take a chance when it's so cheap anyway. And after a while, I started getting regular payments of, $500 or $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 and beyond to build websites for people. And I never pretended like they were going to be crazy complicated websites. It was always a very simple website, very similar style. And the good thing about building WordPress websites is that you can go on websites like themeforest.net and you can go on there and buy a website template for say $50 or something around there. And that will have most of the framework or the structure of the website already pre-done, and your developer will be able to work within those boundaries. So it's not as simple as just getting a theme and throwing it up, but a lot of the time is spent on the customization of that theme to the client's needs. Overall, your cost is going to be somewhere between $200 to $300 typically, and you'll be able to sell it for $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 plus. And people will pay that quite regularly as long as you deliver great customer service, listen to their needs, and all that sort of basic business stuff. You'll do well. And I was typically doing a website over a weekend with the contractor. And there were some weekends, some months where I would make a $2,000, a $1,000, a $1,500, and maybe a $500. And I would make several $1,000s extra that month on top of my job salary, just building these basic websites for people. So it can be quite lucrative. For me, I didn't really find it very enjoyable, to be honest. I don't love building websites, but for me, it was like a way out of what I was doing. It might be different for you, but for me, it was also a way for me to get into a business. I had all these websites that I built for people, and people started asking, well, how do I get people to the website now that it's built? and I didn't know. And I started researching online and just start the whole process again, learning about marketing and how to get traffic to a website and all the different strategies to do that. And same thing, did it for free, started to get results after a while of testing, trial and error. And then once I started getting better results, I ended up charging a little bit and then a little bit more and a little bit more. And I really enjoyed that aspect of things. And it allowed me to go from job to websites to marketing, consulting and marketing services like paid ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, local SEO and all that. And I still do that today. While the websites wasn't, my ultimate goal, it was a means to an end that helped me get to something that I did enjoy. And that's how powerful side hustles can be. And I'm a big fan of side hustles where you learn real skills that can serve you for the rest of your career, not like doing online surveys for $50 and $5 and $20. You don't really learn a skill there. So I'm not really a fan of things. Obviously do what you got to do. But for me, I'm not really a fan of something where I can't get some sort of compound effect happening, where the skills I learned with websites played into my marketing career and has been useful for several years later. So think about that when you pick your side hustle. But yeah, just want to give a bit of an overview of my first side hustle and whether you do this one or another one, just to get your brain thinking a bit about how, if you're in a 9-to-5, for example, and you want to get out of it, this is a way to start getting, independent money, which is very, very exciting and can be your path out. Because if you can make $5,000 a month or $2,000 a month, you can make $10,000 a month. And for many people, around 10K can start to be a point where you can live off that money. I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions, let me know below and I'll see you in the next video.